In the final chapter of FE9, we have our final showdown against King Ashnard in the garden of the Crimean Royal Palace. Here, Ike has his choice to make a speech to the troops, but he can refuse to do so just to be funny. Ashnard's retainer Bryce asks him to escape to preserve the Dayan royal lineage, but King Ashnard doesn't care about that, and it was in fact a major contributor to the decline of his own bloodline, as he was the one who killed his own father and the rest of the royal family. Even knowing this, Bryce does not waver, as his loyalty to the Dayan monarchy is absolute. In the battle preparation, I sell every single item that I don't plan on bringing with me and then use the funds to purchase an excessive amount of elixirs that I distribute to my more important characters. This is a very difficult map with a 2-phase regenerating boss as well as a large number of powerful aggressive enemies. I deploy all my units except Elincia, who I leave on the bench because she is a lost condition that I am not confident that I can defend. The enemies arrayed against us come from 3 main directions: the left, the middle, and the right. My strategy is to have everyone go to the left to defend against the Paladins and Draco Knights, while I leave Ike in the middle to handle everything else. Because he is a tanky 1-2 range unit with Ragnar that can deal a lot of damage and also self-sustain by using Ether. On the left, I form a diagonal extension off the terrain, but unfortunately I'm one character short of making an actual wall, which is bad because I chose to attack the side that has more mobile enemies. As I do this, Largo is killed by bolting, which is fine because absorbing Siege Home was probably his best use case to begin with. I push against the Wyverns and Paladins with my 255 critical mages, allowing me to break their critical mass and make them a lot less lethal. The entire middle and right flanks move in, and I summon some Holy Guard reinforcements to slow them down to get everyone else away, while Ike slaughters them by the dozen with Ragnar. With the initial waves taken care of, I move everyone back to the starting area and wait until turn 9 when Ashnard begins moving. Ashnard in Maniac Mode is an incredibly strong, mobile 2-phase final boss boasting 10 movement, a tremendous amount of damage, high speed, and invulnerability to damage from most characters. Currently, the only characters that can damage him are Nasir and Ike, and even then, their basic attacks are barely enough to overcome his passive regeneration. So I set up for Ashnard's first phase by using Nasir, making sure that his HP is low enough to activate Resolve after being attacked. Resolve and Wrath will activate and boost your unit's stats if they are brought below half health before their first counterattack, so Nasir is able to survive Ashnard's first blow and then counterattack with Resolve and Wrath, bringing his speed high enough to double and allowing him to land an absolutely massive critical on his second attack, instantly annihilating Ashnard's health bar and taking down his first phase in 1 round. After being defeated once, Ashnard decides to use Medallion's power, activating his second phase and turning him green for some reason. At this point, we can then summon a Laguz Royal to assist us, who are powerful units that can survive and damage Ashnard. Of these options, Gifka is typically considered the best because he does the most damage. However, seeing that victory is in sight, I choose Naysala, who's objectively the worst Royal to bring, and this is something that he acknowledges in his dialogue. Now that Ashnard is entangled in my own forces, I move my units to surround him to ensure that he doesn't move around and one-shotting my weaker characters. I wall him off with Gatri, Nephri, and Nasir and place a sacrificial Lucia below him to convince him to move against the edge of the map after he kills her, thus reducing the number of units I need to block him from 4 to 3. This is necessary because additional enemies come from the top and demand my attention, and fighting them at the same time as Ashnard is complete suicide. This is also why I didn't use Naysala or Ike to block off Ashnard, as they are needed to clear the remaining enemies so I can focus on Ashnard undisturbed. I have Ike, Toroneo, and Naysala block off choke points while my mages focus on clearing the enemies. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do this very cleanly because of bad terrain and poor positioning, so Tormod dies when a Wyvern slips through the cracks. I managed to just barely kill the mini-boss Bryce with Tanith after missing an attack with Ike. When I'm around halfway through clearing the supporting enemies, Ashnard suddenly surprises me with an 8% critical hit which instantly kills Gachi from full HP and then moves to break out of containment. I try to make an impromptu wall using a Holy Guard, but Ashnard kills her too and then moves out again. But the sacrifice of this generic Pegasus Knight buys me enough time to pull back Ike to help defend and form a solid wall where none of the individuals can die to critical hits. I continue clearing the other enemies until there's only one Dragon Laguz left, but then Nephri dies because I forgot to heal her, allowing Ashnard to break out again, this time away from the edge of the map, raising the number of blockers I need back up to 4, which is not good because after recent losses I only have 3 units left that can survive his attacks. I have Naysala, Ike, and Nasir for a partial surround, ground, while I place Tornado near him in a sacrificial gambit to move him back against the edge of the map, but this doesn't work as Ashnard just kills him then moves back up. I try again by using Ranulf, and this time it succeeds, and after Ranulf is killed, Ashnard pins himself against the edge of the map once more, allowing me to block him off completely. Now all that is left is to kill Ashnard, so I have Ike, Nasir, and Excelblem repeatedly attack him to take him down. And as I do this, Ike manages to land an ether to do significant amounts of damage. I didn't realize that I now have the opportunity to get all the rest of my characters killed, but as I plan out these last few moves, Ike randomly activates yet another ether and kills Ashnard, defeating him and preventing me from sacrificing the rest of my army for no reason.